So all emotions related with Chit mind, the eye consciousness, hear consciousness, smell consciousness, all these are something like also the service,
like a medium.
Like a medium, or you say the serving the main mind, Chit. So these eye consciousness, ear consciousness, no self-sorority, because of the no power to designate. Just you see, carry the message. Then sixth mind judge. This is good, this is bad. Then accordingly, too much grasping. And then dislike, anger, or jealousy, all these things happen. And something positive and attachment, like that. So the grasping things firstly appears, then grasping. With that, then Chit, sixth mind, make distinction. This is something good, this is something bad. Then you see too much grasping. So Chit mind, the final decision maker, like that. So now, roughly speaking, we should not sort of decide things existence as appears. Now, as quantum physics say, we should not bother appearances. They must go deeper level. So we can say here, the true truth, superficial truth, and deeper level truth. Then, in religious field, as I mentioned earlier, Buddhism, anathema theory. Then a lot of sort of also a different conception about true truth. Because of the description or idea about the true truth, then firstly, Buddhism, non-Buddhism, like Jainism, very good. But there are differences. So within Buddhism, Vibhashek, Chitta Mantra, Sutrantik, and Chitta Mantra, and then Madhyamika. Within Madhyamika, there are Prasankika Madhyamika, Sutrantik Madhyamika. So there are those Indian great thinkers really, as a result of analyze, then different philosophy. You see, the basis Buddha himself, you see, made. Then, like Nagarjuna, Arya Asanga, then you see there further sort of investigation, and then the subtle level of differences. And then also, you see these great Indian masters, they are quite blunt, like Chandrakirti. His philosophy is Nagarjuna's is a philosophy, nothing exists as appears. So he mentioned, now I can't translate, in Madhyamika Avatara, you see, he mentioned the subtle level of meaning of shunyata. Even some of those great Buddhist master, philosopher, like Bosuband and Dignac, and so on, you see, they also, you see, whether they abandon this philosophy or not, and he say, yes, they abandon. So when I read that passage, and I feel quite proud and quite happy. For me, this philosophy, I think very scientific, very realistic, and firstly, very similar, very close sort of link with quantum physics. So therefore, I always feel I'm the one student of Nagarjuna. And Chandrakirti. So if Chandrakirti, today Chandrakirti opportunity to meet, I think Chandrakirti, I think Kasur, Pachirve.
No.
Champucha.
Pad.
Ah.
Pad.
Oh, like that. Actually, you see, this thinking is the best weapon to reduce all negative emotion, ultimately ignorance. So ignorance, we believe things exist as appears. That develop that basis of grasping. So in order to reduce that nothing exists as appears. Things, just a mere mental designation. Nothing independently exists. So I also used to practice this daily. Morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm thinking, recite some of the sentence wrote by Chandrakirti. Chandrakirti. And combined with altruism. Very helpful, very helpful. Okay. And there is a story in Tibet. One, you see, thinker investigate thinking, where's I? Then finally, he found nothing. Then he touched, you see, his clothes or his body. Then he found there is something. Like that. So these are the Paticca thinking, Madhyamika philosophy. Extremely useful, very useful. The most powerful antidote to cut the ultimate ignorance. So these, my daily practice, very important part of practice. Very good. I'm hoping if now Chandrakirti there or Nagarjuna there, I think they most probably, I think they, as I mentioned earlier, they pat me and encouraging me. They consider I am quite intelligent student of this philosophy. Okay. these are not only knowledge, but you see, very powerful weapon to reduce negative emotion. Okay. Then next.
Thank you, Ms. Holiness. The next question is from Karthik Ladha, a student from IIT Bombay, India.
Greetings, His Holiness. My question to you is, in correspondence to the COVID pandemic, global warming, human-made disasters, and political instability, as well as technological innovations, space explorations, medical advancements, we wish to ask that if we as humans are really making progress, or are we just creating bigger problems as we manage to solve the old ones?
Now these illness, something new. Yes, certainly. You see, I think I'm not expert. You see these things, but I believe. You see, the world, also the whole galaxies, you see, there is beginning, so there is end. So now things are always changing. Now the global warming, now the many scientists now they really sort of also they recognize things are getting warmer, and there is a danger. Eventually, you see, Tibet will become also the desert. So Tibet, usually you see the whole. I think we can say whole Asia, major river come from Tibet. So Tibet, there are a lot of snow and high altitude. But now, within my own lifetime, when I was young, some my friend, they say when they were young, say some mountain, more snow. Within my own lifetime, less and less. So now that's because of nature, also the
natural process.
Nature process, like that. So now we should pay more attention about ecology. Very important. Now UN also now saying, paying more attention, particularly the United Nations General Secretary. Wonderful. So now we have to, while we just carry busy life, then due to global warming, gradually now this water reduce and blue, also the land eventually desert. So therefore, we have to pay some attention like that. So one of my commitment regarding Tibet, now preserve Tibetan ecology and Tibetan culture. The political matter, I already retired. The political matter, we have the elected political leadership. So my responsibility is to preserve Tibetan culture, Tibetan knowledge, which come from, as I mentioned earlier, from India. So now I think the great Nalanda masters sort of thought we kept so really worthwhile. And with that, Tibetan language also is the best language to describe these subtle philosophical views and psychology, these things. So that's my commitment, and preserve Tibetan ecology. I think material development, including science and technology, I think we should say these are useful, but should not go extreme way. You see, there sometimes you see expert, they only think they're on one field. So not much sort of concern about side effect. That's, I think, you should pay more attention for holistic way. Just, you see, pay one. Now, for example, the nuclear physicist, one way is very expert, but then only think that way, and then a lot of fears, you see, bring. Something like that, our sort of thinking in different field, we should keep more holistic, not just one, like that. Okay. Now next.
The next question is from Garima Bhargav from ICAI, India.
Sure.
Greetings, His Holiness. My question is how to deal with fear of failure and control our thoughts by remaining in the ideal state of mind and deal with every panicking situation calmly without being scared. Thank you.
Okay. I feel education, including about our inner world, our mind, our emotion. So here, the Buddhist psychology, the Nalanda tradition, you say, about mind, about these different emotions. And each emotions, you see, the particular sort of causes and antidote, all these very detailed explanation in according the Buddhist psychology. So that's the way. So, as a fear, there are fears with reason, with need. But meantime, you see, many cases just our own exaggeration and fear. Here we need, like you see, Buddhist philosophy say, the negative side, then antidote side. All these, I think now this country in here, the Shantadeva's book, Kasa.
Bodhisattva Jaya Avatara.
Kasa, Bodhisattva
Jaya Avatara.
Jaya Avatara. Now Hindi translation available, English translation available. Then, see, since I came India, in Lhasa, you see, teaching of that book quite rare. After I reached India, you see, I received, you see, the oral transmission, the Shantadeva's book. Now, 6th chapter, about, you see, how to sort of develop, how to useful patience and intolerance and how harmful, anger, how harmful is antidote tolerance. Wonderful sort of the presentation. Then 8th century, 8th chapter, altruism is wonderful. The self-centered attitude is the key factor for problem. So now, when we face some problem, then you see, think whether there is a way to overcome that fear or not. If you see, if you find, if there is sort of possibility to overcome these sort of negative thing which you feel fear, then no use to my sort of fear. Make effort for counterforce. Then those things which in any way ultimately you have to face, no way to overcome, then no use too much fear. It's quite simple. The Shantadeva's book, you see, mentioned like that. So I also, you see, practiced that. When I face some problem, analyze. Oh, this problem can overcome. Then, you see, instead of fear or demoralized, no, determined. If you see things beyond our control and because no possibility to overcome, then no use too much worry. Okay. Then next.
Thank you, His Holiness. To ask the question next, I would like to invite Sean Evans from the University of Gloucestershire, England.
Greetings, His Holiness. I hold compassion as hugely important, but I question where one draws the line with how we act on compassion. In my life, I often come across situations when I feel like helping someone, but doing so would hamper my own progress and work. What should be done in such situations?
Basically, we are social animal. So, from birth, our life depends on others, also the compassion. Firstly, from our mother, then eventually family member and our neighbor, and now today the whole world, the future of individual depend on the world human groups. So therefore, now they help other and try to reduce other sort of problem is indirectly best way to preserve your own interest, because whole your life depend on other. So taking care about other is indirectly taking care of yourself. You see, anger, anger, then creates all your neighbor, you see something negative, then finally you suffer. So taking care about all your neighbor, then when you face some problem, you can ask, you see, also help this, you see, your neighbor. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, we are a social animal. Our individual life entirely depend on, care of others. So now today's world, the global, for example, global economy and global ecology, all these very much depend on other. So now, these days, I'm expressing, we really need a sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. So I'm part of that. In order to individual yourself be happy life, you should pay realistic way to deal with other people, like that. Okay. Sometimes I telling, and also feel the best way to selfish way, to take care of yourself. Best way is to take care of other. It's the best way to take for your own self, because your whole life depend on other. Even to some extent, even animals, birds also have limited thinking. For their own interest, for their own survival, taking care their group, like that. Now, next.
For the final question of the session to His Holiness, I would like to invite Kunal Bhatt from Mumbai University, India.
Greetings, His Holiness. My question is, since Buddhism does not believe in the presence of a supernatural God, what are the thoughts of His Holiness on God's existence?
Certainly, as I mentioned earlier, different religion, different philosophy. Even Buddha himself, give teaching according different people whose different mental disposition. So sometimes Buddha also, 가사 쿨쿠어 보는 가사고 된거 가사 풍부간에 쿨쿠어 보는 가사고. See, even Buddha's own word, this body is our burden. The carrier, this burden is self. So it seems, this body, and I is something complete separate. So it's Buddha is stated according some people's mental disposition. Then some cases Buddha say no I, no self. Make distinction as already we discussed, truth, these things. So now there are different people according different mental disposition. To some people, the Creator, God, very helpful, very good. So I always was telling the Christianity or some Hindus, the Creator believe, but Jainism not that kind of faith, and Buddhism also no that kind of concept. So otherwise, Muslim, Allah, and Judaism also. Right. Oh. So therefore, you see, that concept also very good. Nobody say God full of anger. No say God loving kindness. We are children of that kind of Father, God full of love. So we should be helping each other, loving each other, because we all children of same Father. So that concept also is very helpful. We all created by one God, that God full of love, and we all children of that kind of Father, loving kind, also Father. So that's very good, very powerful. And according to Buddhism, you are your own master. That also is thinking one way, very good. But one way, Buddha say, you are your own master. Whatever I like, I can do. So all these great thinkers teach us according different people, different mental position. Some people, the creator, concept of creator is wonderful, very good. Okay. Finish.
Thank you so much for the insightful and enlightening answers, His Holiness. We pray Ahimsa and Karuna be revived globally in these difficult times for our world. Now, I would like to hand over to Ashay Lee.
Namaste, His Holiness. We are really highly honored to have had the privilege of hosting you at TechFest this year. Your words were truly inspiring and they certainly struck a chord among us all. They made us look inwards and think more deeply about spirituality and human condition. Now, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to His Holiness on behalf of the entire team of TechFest, IIT Bombay community, as well as our viewers and participants from across the globe.
Then I want to share some sort of story. South Africa Archbishop Tutu. I really respect him. I really love him. Since we know each other very close, so sometimes, he even used to come to Dharamsala, and a few days we discuss like that. So then, since we know each other very well, and meantime, so respect each other. So therefore, one occasion, he jokingly told me, he as a Christian, believe God. So he ready go to heaven. Dalai Lama, non-believer. So Dalai Lama go something different place. So he go to heaven because believe God. Dalai Lama, no faith, God, creator, so sinful, go to hell. Then I told, you see, this story, one occasion, some group of people, and some of them told, as a response to me, you see, wherever Dalai Lama go, even hell, they want to go together. So, I respect Christianity, as I mentioned earlier, wonderful. But it's a whole world created by God. there are a lot of problems. Our world. Why God creates that full of problem, that world full of problem, full of suffering? Why? So difficult. So India's concept of karma, one's own action, due to all these the suffering, these are due to one's own negative karma. So theory of karma, very good. Karma means action. So all good, bad depend on one's own action. It's a good action, helping other, serving other, you get benefit. If you harm other, if you create suffering other, you will suffer. So either you accept God, Creator, wonderful, or no, the Indian tradition, like Jainism and Buddhism, no Creator, but everything depends on one's own action. Like that. So, thank you. I really very much enjoy now discussion with our Indian friend. So, I'm the guest of Indian government now over 88, now 87 years I live here, and then another, I think at least 1 decade or 2 decades, I will remain here in this country. So we can have some opportunity discuss. And I am thinking seriously. Now this illness reduce, then I am very, very eager go to Delhi or Bombay, Calcutta and Bangalore. You see, meet some Indian education sort of scholars and how to develop in modern Indian education, modern education mainly related with external thing. So ancient Indian education about mind, these are there. So India can combine the existing modern education in this country, very good. Now, ancient Indian knowledge about mind, about emotion, this must combine. Academic level, a secular way. So that I'm sort of seriously thinking. So more detailed discussion with educationists among Indian different universities. So I'm thinking very seriously. And some of you also, you see, also have this sort of, opportunity. Or you see, have the same responsibility to combine modern education and ancient Indian education combined, strictly secular way. Then India, I think, can make a certain significant contribution to whole world, like that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Holiness, for your kind words. We will await your arrival at IIT Bombay sometime soon too. Thank you to the attendees for being a wonderful audience, and may you and your loved ones stay well.
가셨어요? 아.